So it's the beginning of February, back out in the fields today. The days are starting to get a bit longer, which is nice, and hopefully if we get a bit of warmer weather, crops will soon start to grow away. Obviously in a crop of oilseed rape today, which is looking pretty healthy. It hasn't had any nitrogen yet, but it won't be long before it does. Clearly there have been some challenges again for oilseed rape this year. The effect of the adult flea beetle early on, and then more latterly the larvae in the stems. But oilseed rape, like a lot of crops, has had the issue of all the excess rainfall to contend with, and some crops have been sat with very wet roots. So just on the nitrogen, firstly, in a crop like this, which is looking pretty healthy, don't forget to take into account that for every index of green area you've got in oilseed rape, there is about 50 kilograms of nitrogen in that. So make sure you take that into account when you're making your sort of plans for total nitrogen in oilseed rape. As well as that, we know from tissue analysis that we've seen coming into the lab that there is quite high or higher than average deficiencies of some of the other key nutrients necessary for a good healthy crop of oilseed rape. So we've got very low levels of boron, molybdenum and magnesium, as well as other elements as well. So it's important in crops that you know are going to be worth investing in to take that into account. And we've seen that from the work done by ADAS with the yield enhancement network, that the higher yielding crops in that project have always shown higher levels of those nutrients within those tissue samples compared to those lower yielding crops. And so we would recommend when we move into sort of stem extension, which some of these crops won't be so far off, to include BRASSITREL PRO in your program. BRASSITREL PRO is a crop specific product. It's been formulated specifically for brassica crops and oilseed rape, and it contains all those essential nutrients that the crop will need through that rapid stem extension phase. It contains boron, molybdenum, magnesium, manganese, calcium and also nitrogen. And we've seen over 6 years of our trial work that 3 litres of BRASSITREL PRO applied in the spring is giving a yield increase of 0.27 of a tonne per hectare. Now with current market values, that's giving you about a 7-to-1 return on investment, and is only requiring about 40 kilograms of that oilseed rape to cover the cost of those 3 litres. So that's our recommendation: 3 litres of BRASSITREL PRO at stem extension to give your crops a sustained feeding effect with a readily tank mixable, easy to use product.